We did all of our standings predictions, and we excited to see you guys take on that. Now we want to get to our last predictions, and now we are award predictions. A lot of fun things here. Definitely what we want to discuss, and we won't waste too much time. Honestly, we'll jump straight into it. Alec, who do you think is going to get MVP this year? You think Jokic goes back to back again, or back to back with the MVP pick?
Well, I mean, last year Embiid got it, but Jokic easily could have had it.
I was MVP. I was blanking. I know he won MVP at some point last year.
Yeah. I mean, he easily could have had the three-peat last year. I think there was a little bit of voter fatigue,
Sure.
but Embiid was deserving as well. But yeah, I think for me it is Jokic this year. I think he's the main engine of that Denver squad, and he's going to be the one that's the catalyst for their success night in, night out. They've got a good team around him now, but he is the superstar of that team. And he's kind of only like one of the only guys in a spot on those high-end teams in the conferences where he kind of is the guy. Like most of the other teams have a duo or a trio, and obviously Jamal Murray is there, but I wouldn't say he's on the same caliber of star that Jokic is either, especially not in the regular season. He's typically one that rises in the playoffs.
So, as you said, fatigue was a big thing last year. You think the fatigue is over again and they'll just jump right back to voting for him as MVP this year?
I do a little bit because I think there will be some people who are like I probably should have voted for Jokic last year. Like that was a mistake. Like he's going to get my vote again.
A redemption pick for
a little bit of a correction from last year. The other guys I considered were Tatum potentially. Like I said, Luka is in top 3, but he's not even close to it for me personally. And then Giannis or Dame. With them being on the same team, I feel like they kind of take away from each other a little bit in terms of MVP voting. But
I think Giannis is still the one on that squad.
He's still viewed as the one probably. But yeah. But I got Jokic. I landed on Jokic though.
Of the top teams, I will say I do think Jokic is the most clear one on his team, if that makes sense. So he's the most clear 1A on his team. Steph very well could be that as well, but I don't know if this team's going to be top tier, even be in that discussion as well. So I hear you in that. Him getting a third MVP just is crazy, but I guess that very well is possible.
Yeah. Who would be your other picks? Any other guys I said or someone else?
Tatum did come to mind. Book came to mind.
Yeah, I feel like he just never gets that acknowledgement.
I do think this may be the year though that he does.
You think so? Even with having the big 3?
Yeah, because I think it's still acknowledged that this is D-Book's squad. Like he is the one that's been there the longest and all of that. The other guys have said that they understand that D-Book has been the one that kind of brought them here. Like he rebuilt the Sun squad into what it is. So I think while it may not fully show on the court at times, because obviously KD and Beal can have very dominating presences, I do think that Book will still be the lead of that team there. So he very well could get that award this year. As he was someone who got even dismissed. There were a couple of years ago where it was supposed to be him. Everyone's like, "Oh no, Chris Paul's the MVP of the squad." It's like, no, he's not. It's D-Book. Like, what are we doing? So I think D-Book may finally get his credit this year with the guys around him. So we'll see how that plays. But outside of that, yeah, as you said, they have Jokic, Luka, and Giannis as the top 3 odds. Tatum right behind it, and Embiid and Steph are the top 6 names there. Yeah. I think that kind of will be how it falls. I can, even without being a full homer, can say that the Lakers do somehow get top 4, top 3. We're going to have to put AD or LeBron in that discussion. LeBron doing that in year 21 or 27, whatever year it is.
I think 21, yeah.
Whatever year it is absolutely insane. But if anybody could do it, he's shown that he potentially can if he plays enough. So we'll see how that goes. But outside of that, I'm not sure. I guess that, as we kind of joked about before, if somehow the Kings are getting a top 4 squad, while they may not have the most dominating type guys in comparison to the other ones, you're gonna have to, if they make it that high, we're gonna have to acknowledge them some kind of way. As we joked about, they'll be in the discussion. We'll say, and leave it at that. So those will be it.
So
Outside of
did
that,
you say who your pick would be?
oh, my pick would be.
Yeah.
I don't have a clear pick. I would say Jason, I guess, but I don't like room for the Celtics. So, yeah, I guess I'll go with him, and we'll see from there.
Shall we go to Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, we'll go on from there. I won't sit there too long. Going to Rookie of the Year. How you have that one playing now? It seems like it's a one-man race, and we see one guy leading the way. Are you going with Wemby? You think somebody else got it?
I personally got Chet, actually, and I wasn't the hugest Chet guy in his draft coming out, but I think he's a very similar prospect to Wemby. Like they have a lot of similarities to their game, and he's got some of the experience of playing with some NBA guys a little bit. But I think it's Wemby's award to lose, but I think he could lose it to Chet. Like I think it's going to be a close race between them throughout the season, and I think it's going to be interesting because like how I see it is that the Spurs aren't going to be quite as good as the Thunder, and especially if the Thunder are like a competitive team, and Chet is like the first or second best player probably to Shea.
Right.
I think if they're making noise, it'll be good for him. But Wemby's already going to have the built-in fanfare for who he is as the prospect as well.
The button is fully pushed on Wemby right now already.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be hard to get overcome that. Also, while with the MVP award, usually it's the best player on the best team or close to that, unless somebody does something really outlandish. Most times it's the best guy, but best team. For the Rookie of the Year, usually just goes to the guy who seems like he's the most clear pro of the group. So while Chet very well could be that, I think Wemby will have enough highlights and things to say there's no way we don't give this guy the award. So we'll see how that plays out. I do fully respect Chet, as we talked about earlier in our standings with that Thunder squad. But as an individual, I think Wemby being the 1A will be the difference there compared to Chet, who comes second in line compared to Shea and Giddey and all those kind of guys over there. So, yeah, that'll be it. So
I think when I saw the odds, they might have had Scoot as the second.
That too,
pick, actually, too. I don't know if I see that just because I don't.
FanDuel at least has Wemby, Chet, Scoot, Brandon Miller, Amen Thompson, and then Cam Whitmore is the dark horse.
Okay.
And I do like Cam a lot too. So salute to him for working his way up into that list. He got passed over by Future. I think we passed on him too. So it is what it is. But yeah, this is a good 2-man race between these two for sure. But salute to Scoot and all those guys. So that's it for the year.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Going on from there, we have Defensive Player of the Year. Who do you have in that one? Is it AD's this year? Is it Bam finally getting it? How you have that one coming out?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of shocking that Bam hasn't gotten that recognition because he's great year in, year out. I think Giannis will be in the conversation. I do think AD will be in the conversation, and he is my pick. I think it'll help to have the other bigs that they brought in so that like he doesn't have to be the only anchor. We still would like to see a little bit more girth. I think we described it as a little bit. Because
that depends on the position he plays. If he's more of the 4 like he wants to be, he can stay as is and that'll be fine. But if he wants to be the 5, he's gonna need to add some more presence in the paint for sure.
But yeah, because Jackson's got the slight frame. I think having Christian Wood, he's not a great defender, but just having more bodies around him will be helpful because AD was the defensive anchor of this team last year, and he was great at it. And he honestly should have gotten a little bit more recognition for it because this team was elite defensively, and he was the main anchor of that. I think he continues to be so. I think he knows that the Lakers need him to be the best player on this team. LeBron's only getting older, and while he's still playing at an MVP level, it's time for him to accept the keys. It's time for the keys to be handed over. And I think AD hears all the noise and hopefully we'll respond with a little bit more of that dog. Sometimes we question a little bit the dog that he's got in him. I think he responds a little bit more this season. So yeah, I'm gonna go with AD for Defensive Player of the Year.
AD at 2. Also, just a quick flashback. MVP, you had Jokic, you had Jason Tatum in the mix and all of that. A little side note: we have our fantasy draft starting soon, and the order just came out. They have you at 2. You're
I'm at 2.
Yeah, who you thinking of that going with that at the 2 spot? Just for that first pick. I'm behind you, so that won't matter to me.
Yeah, who's at 1?
Kyrie Irving Medical Center. Who's that?
Who's that? I think that might be Vic.
Maybe it might be Vic.
That might be Vic. But I assume Jokic will be off the board, so I would probably go Giannis.
Giannis?
I
Okay.
would probably go Giannis. Yeah.
Can I give you a little insight?
What?
I'm taking Vic at 4 for sure.
Oh,
I don't care. I don't care. It could be the biggest whiff of the draft. It could be horribly wrong. I don't care. I'm taking him at 4, and I'll roll with the punches after that. So I'm taking him. If you steal him, then I will fight about it. But
you saying Wembenyama at 4?
At 4, yes.
No way you're taking him in the first round. No way.
20 minutes. Anyways, that's giving some fun things to stay tuned for. Going back to our award picks, we only have 2 more left. Our most improved player, who you have in that discussion there?
At most improved, I actually got Scotty, who he's a little bit lower. I think I saw him about 5 or 6 in the MVP or in the MIP odds.
Barely on the list.
Higher was Jordan Poole and Tyrese Maxey.
Bridges, Tyrese Maxey, Jordan Poole, Cade Cunningham, Anthony Simons, and then
and the reason for those guys, like they're already 20-point per game scorers for the most part.
Right.
Like they have to make all-star to superstar level jump to have like significant boost in their averages. I do think like Jordan Poole's gonna have the greenest of lights. I do think he goes from 20 to 23 or 25, something like that. I think Maxey goes from 20 to 23 or so without Harden. But I don't think that's a significant enough jump. And I think Scotty's gonna have the opportunity to be a lot more of the initiator in the offense with Fred VanVleet being gone. And he's going to take on more of that responsibility. He kind of had a sophomore slump in a sense. He was still a solid player, but he kind of regressed a little bit.
I don't want to say cheated, but he missed out on one award recently that he should have got. Also, wasn't that too, right? Wasn't it Rookie of the Year? Maybe Rookie Year. We were talking about Scotty should have been it, and he didn't get it because I think they had Ja maybe in that same draft or wherever that was. So he couldn't quite get past those guys, obviously. But we've seen Scotty show early on that he belongs, and now with a more improved role, can continue to do that. And maybe yet again, where he's a guy that may be the real pick for a lot of guys, but in regards to how the league goes and who they actually pick for the award, wanting to award one of these guys that might end up being an all-star, because I can see maybe a Mikal Bridges or Tyrese or one of them top 3 guys they mentioned, Jordan Poole, stealing an all-star spot. When them 3 end up getting it, they want to make sure they award their all-stars. They might get that pick from them, but we'll see that Scotty takes his jumps this year as well. That deserves recognition. So I hear you in that.
I guess you could kind of call it a dark horse pick for this one, just because those other guys have better odds and potentially can make an all-star team. Maybe Mikal Bridges sneaks onto an all-star team or something like that. But I like the opportunity for him there to be more of like a point forward for the Raptors. And especially if a trade does end up happening, I don't think Scotty would be the one they would want to move.
Right.
So I can see him taking on a bigger scoring role as well as facilitating. So
we talked about it all offseason. There's no, you didn't think Austin was going to be a guy that ends up in the discussion, or you think the other guys are going to have too much pull?
He was fairly high on the odds as well too.
He's right outside the top 6. Yeah.
If he does make that leap into the third best play, like solidified third piece on this team, 20 point per game guy, then he can definitely be that. But I'm certainly not betting against it. But I don't know if he makes like that type of jump. I think he's a really solid player. I think he's probably 16, 17 points a game for us, and we'll gladly take that. But I don't know that he makes MIP type jump. He already kind of made a jump last year too. So
got it. All right, so we'll see how that plays. I do think our Captain America can be impressive, at least for our squad. So excited to see how that plays out, and definitely looking forward to this race amongst others. So definitely a lot of fun things there. The last real award of note, we'll skip Coach of the Year.
I didn't even put one.
That too much. But the last player award, the real one, is Sixth Man of the Year, and how you have that going.
Yeah.
I just told you pick.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Poise is your guy, huh?
You're good. I believe the top odds was Emmanuel Quickly for Sixth Man of the Year. And I mean, good player. I could see that happening.
Emmanuel Quickly, Norman Powell, Malik Monk, Malcolm Brogdon, Chris Paul, Drew Holiday, Bobby Portis. Then is that 7? It looks like.
I think I told you pre-show that I almost had Chris Paul. I couldn't do it, man. You know, if you know me, maybe you haven't tuned into the show before. Chris Paul is enemy number 1 for me in the NBA, man. That's the one player I can definitively say, like, if you want to call me a hater, I'm a hater of Chris Paul.
Got it. Understood.
But I do think he can have a good year off the bench. I wonder too if he gets some starting opportunities. Like, I don't know if he's going to be the consistent 6 man. Like, for
I was going to say too, someone else that came to mind that I had thoughts of. He may not get enough of that 6 man spot to fully earn it, but will be of note. I think Jonathan Kuminga finally makes the jump. He's the last kind of young guy for that Warriors squad.
Warriors, they would welcome it if he did.
They definitely need his production off the bench or in some capacity to take some of the load off of Clay and Wiggins a little bit as those perimeter type guys. And Steph, obviously, with what he does, he certainly could use the help. But yeah, I think Jonathan Kuminga is ready for a jump in his career as well. And on this Warriors squad, as the last young guy that they kept around, it seems, he surely could have a big factor there. So, yeah, I think he could be a big one if he gets enough opportunity to show it.
Yeah, but it came down to, for me, between Chris Paul and Bobby Portis. And landed on Bobby Portis because I think, as I said, the Bucks have a good squad, great starting 5, but the bench depth is a little bit thin, and I think he's going to play a prominent role of 25 to 30 minutes a night for them off the bench. And we've seen him be really, really good, especially when, like, Brook Lopez has been absent and he stepped into the starting role. Like, he's been a great producer for them defensively, shooting the 3, solid passer. He's a great piece for them, and I think he's going to be key for them in being a contender this year. And I think he's going to be solidified in that 6 man role for the Bucks. So I landed on Bobby Portis.
I'm rolling with you. So yeah, not too much argument from you. There's a lot of fun stuff to watch. Excited for all the awards that are on the way. Looking forward to all of that. Excited for our draft. Things are going to be on the way as well, as we discussed. Our draft is coming up, so we may end up cutting some things short. But for now, there'll be plenty of good things here. The last thing I'll sneak in, because these are all the real awards. The last one fun award, I won't go in depth like we did last year. Okay. The one kind of fun award I will say is, who's your League Pass Team of the Year this year? Who's the team you're tuning into the most?
Oh man, yeah.
Of the bottom tier teams, who you think who you gonna have eyes on this year?
Yeah, well, yeah. So if you want to go with the lower tier teams, potentially, definitely the Thunder, definly the Spurs with Wembanyama.
Those things given, so we'll both just kind of knock those off as yes.
I think
the next one.
I was gonna say, just looking at the teams, I think they're more so in the West, to be honest. Like, not a whole lot of the lower East teams am I super intrigued by. Go ahead with the team that you were going to mention, though.
While you say that, maybe I'm just weird, but I'm going to be tuning into a lot to the Pistons. I like Kay Cunningham a lot still.
That's fair.
I like Jaden Ivey a lot still. Marvin Bagley hasn't quite been where we want him to be, but beyond him, James Wiseman over there.
Monty Williams, the head coach.
Jalen Duran, I believe, is the starter over there. I think
Jalen Duran,
Duran. My apologies. But seeing what they have there with all those bigs kind of down low, and the trio that they have with those few, they want the Thompson brothers over there as well, who will be pretty entertaining too. So yeah, I think there's going to be
they might be a fun team. Yeah,
they won't win a lot of games, I don't think, just yet, but they have some pieces that surely could be entertaining of note. So. Hopefully we won't see any more Isaiah Stewart fights this year. But even if so, it adds to the League Pass reasons to watch there. So we tuned in one way or another. So yeah, they actually were the team that caught my attention. Yeah.
Got you. I guess kind of middle of the pack. Pelicans, like when Zion's on the floor, I'm always looking for that, and I want to see him healthy. So I'm definitely going to be looking for the Pelicans as well. I guess in the East, I agree with you on that Pistons as far as the lower rated teams. Of course, the Bucks. I think everyone's interested in what the Bucks are going to do.
We got to get out of here, but I'll add this in too.
Yeah.
Who's the one team that you're going to not make sure, but if they come on your TV and you're going to be like, you know what, I'm not watching this. I'm good. Who are the teams that you're like, I'm cool on this year because they got a lot of work to do? Admittedly, I'll start off.
Okay.
I don't want to watch the Bulls this year. I'm not going to be honest with you.
That's fair. That's fair.
It seems like it's going to be a repeat of last year. We might
Yeah.
get some good highlights early on from DeMar
Yeah.
and Levine, and then it might turn bad quick, and it's going to be tough to watch there. So
I think
I
I
don't
would.
know how much of the Bulls I'll be tuned into this year.
I think I agree with that. I agree with that in the East for sure. If Lonzo was there, I'd be more intrigued because they're a different team. But he's supposed to be out for the season, I believe. And then for the Western Conference, who would be that team? The Grizzlies without Ja. I'm not interested.
The Grizzlies this year. That every other team seems enticing in some way. Even the Jazz with Laurie again.
Yeah, like Laurie's still cool. Yeah.
Right. Say it again.
Like I said, yeah, Laurie's still cool.
Yeah. So even with him, it'll be enticing. But yeah, the Grizzlies without Ja and without Steven Adams.
And honestly, the Mavericks to me, like they have Kyrie and Luka, so they'll be fun to watch at times.
I hear that. Yeah. Don't want to lean too much into the hate. I'm sorry, but I just it's the fun thing that came to mind. You might see where your mind would go with that. So a lot of good stuff there, and again, just a lot of good things with all the awards and things this year. Looking forward to how these races play out. Let us know you guys' picks in the comments and all of that. We'll be back with more conversations throughout the year. We'll have a more set show as we do with the NFL side of things that we'll bring out for you guys. Excited to bring that to you, and yeah, we'll go from there and have a good time. So yeah, a lot of good stuff here. Thank you all for tuning in as you guys do. You want to go on to the LA stuff right now, or you want to save that for tomorrow?
We can save it because it's not super time sensitive.
Yeah. So. All right, so we'll save that. We got drafts tonight. There's football on tonight. We'll make sure we tuned in and up for all of that, so we can come back tomorrow and discuss it more with you guys from there. So thank you all for tuning in. You guys do continue to like, rate, subscribe, comment, share, all the good stuff for you. We appreciate all the love. Looking forward to all things on the way on NBA and NFL side. Salute to the Aces for getting the WNBA championship as well. And just excited for all things going on here. So that'll be it for now. I'll be back shortly with NFL stuff as we mentioned. And that'll be it, man. Appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all later, man. Peace.
Deuces.